Nested 25 miles away from Washington, D.C. lies a typical suburban American community. From above ground, it might seem unremarkable, blending in with the miles of similarly designed streetscapes. However, beneath the surface and behind the fences, this is where the digital world comes alive. This is Ashburn, Virginia, capital of the internet. If you spend enough time here in Ashburn, you will notice these massive buildings that look kind of like warehouses. These are warehouses of the internet. These are called data centers. A data center is a large centralized facility that can receive, store, manage, process, and distribute massive amounts of digital data. To put it simply, pretty much everything you do online begins or ends at one of these data centers, including you watching this video right now. Experts estimate that about 70% of the entire world's internet traffic goes through Northern Virginia at some point. Approximately 5 trillion gigabytes of data is transferred over the internet each day. That is more data than if you stacked a 1,000 gigabyte SSD like this one from the Earth to the Moon more than 3 times. Or that's 57 million gigabytes every single second. I'll put on screen how many gigabytes have been transferred through the internet since this video started, or an approximate. It's crazy how much bandwidth these data centers have to deal with. So why Northern Virginia, or NOVA as we like to abbreviate it? Reason number 1, location. NOVA is right next to Washington, D.C., which is a ton of government agencies, government contractors, and general businesses that need high quality, low latency data storage options. The D.C. area also attracts skilled IT workers to work at the data centers to keep them running smoothly. Razón número 2, utility infrastructure. NOVA has a large and reliable power supply from multiple diverse sources, including oil, coal, solar, and hydro. Being near the ocean and the Potomac River, NOVA also has access to plentiful water resources for cooling purposes. And because data centers are just warehouses full of computers, they get very, very hot. Troisième raison. The 2 counties with the most data centers in this area are counties with mostly suburban and exurban land uses. They're close to the rural part rather than closer to Washington, D.C., the more city part. It would make no sense to build these massive data centers in the inner suburbs or D.C. itself, which is very prime, very expensive real estate that can be used for many other more productive uses. But out here, about 30 miles from the White House in downtown D.C., there's plenty of room for data centers, which leads me to transport. There are many transportation options available here in the Metro DC area, including Interstate 66 and the Orange Line of Metro Rail, which are the 2 main ones coming from DC out to the suburbs. Secondly, this is Dulles International Airport, with flights to every single continent that is inhabited except one, sorry, Australia. This means that the data centers that are just 2 metro stops that way are relatively accessible to people from anywhere in the world. The city furthest from here in DC is Perth, Australia, and it would only take about 30 hours to get here from Perth with a connecting flight. Pretty impressive, considering how massive the world is. Sababu Namba Tanu. Network connectivity. Northern Virginia has top-notch internet infrastructure, thanks to its extensive network of fiber optic cables that connect data centers to each other and to major internet exchange points. One of these exchange points is MAE East, located in Ashburn, Virginia, and was built all the way back in 1992. It was the first of its kind that connected the eastern seaboard of the United States all the way from New York to Miami, with DC being the intermediary. This exchange point allowed different networks to connect with each other, and it all started when a group of network providers in Virginia decided to connect their separate networks to each other over drinks at a bar. This led to the area becoming a Grand Central Station for internet infrastructure. The original MAE East has since been rebuilt and upgraded to modern network standards, and it also has a new name. There are 2 major clusters of data centers in Northern Virginia, one in Loudoun County, the other in Prince William County. Ashburn is the most dense out of both clusters. 30 years ago, it was all farmland, far as the eye could see. But over time, data centers, general warehouses, businesses, and homes were constructed there. Over the last few decades, suburban communities have sprung up around the area, and the place will never be the same. Recently, the Silver Line extension of the Washington Metro opened that terminates in Ashburn, connecting the community to Dulles Airport, Fairfax County, the inner suburbs, and the capital itself. Driving along the main highways in Ashburn next to the airport, you can see many tech companies have their East Coast offices set up here. If we take a look at the map, we can see that most of the data centers are crowded right here near Ashburn, and then there are others scattered about around the Dulles Airport. Moving south, This is Prince William County along the Interstate 66 and Route 234 corridors. This is where the current data center boom is taking place. So I've passed these data centers for about a year on my commute. They were not here just 2 years ago. They went up pretty quickly, and there's one back there that I believe has already started operations. So these things are going up and starting super fast. There's also one right over there. Here in Prince William County, the opposition to new data centers has continued to escalate ever since developers seek to redevelop unused land and build more data centers. Just last October, somebody knocked on our door asking if we would sign a petition against data centers near Gainesville High School. But that's nothing compared to the Prince William Digital Gateway Project. The Prince William Gateway Project seeks to redevelop a very large portion of the northern part of Prince William County into a massive data center complex. Concerns about the Manassas Battlefield Park right here, which is where the first Civil War battle took place, and to the Rural Crescent, which is basically just people wanting rural areas near their homes, are the two main reasons why there was a lot of backlash against the proposal to build data centers around here. Now, legally, they cannot build on the Manassas Battlefield Park, so it's okay, but right next to it is definitely in danger. These reasons have given the county pause in officially greenlighting the project. However, last year in October of 22, the project was officially greenlighted by the county. But there's still hope for the people who don't want to see the data centers. Each individual project has to be approved by the county board, so it's going to still be an uphill battle for the data center developers to get every single one approved by the county. According to Kyle Hart of the National Parks Conservation Association, the amount of land that could be turned into data centers is around 150 Walmart superstores worth of land, which is a massive amount of land. If fully implemented, this project could make Prince William County the definitive data center capital of the world, surpassing even Loudoun County, which has been the capital since the inception of the internet. Even despite the backlash from some people, over 200 landowners in what could be the massive data center complex have already said that they are willing to sell their land. So it's not everybody who is against the creation of these data centers. While Northern Virginia is home to a plethora of data centers, they can be found all across the world. Silicon Valley is renowned for being the epicenter of internet and tech companies, and adjacent to the San Jose airport, a number of data centers can be found, much like the setup at Dulles International Airport. Moving across the pond, south of Schiphol Airport, outside of Amsterdam, sits Schiphol Rijk, a business park with a concentration of data centers. Along with Amsterdam, the cities of London and Frankfurt also seem to be data center hubs in Western Europe. Asian cities like Singapore, Bangkok, and Tokyo have also seen a growth of data centers and are poised to become the leader as their massive population continues to get online. China and India specifically, projections indicate that by the 2030s they may overtake the United States as global leaders in centering data. Just like with the United States, many of these centers also are near airports. Looking at the map, these centers also seem to be located in major metro areas, often near government offices, which goes to show that data centers tend to be built in metro areas rather than rural ones. There are many benefits of bringing data centers into your communities. They create jobs for engineers, technicians, managers, security guards, cleaners, and construction workers. In 2018, there were 14,000 full-time equivalent jobs with an average pay of $126,000 a year. That's enough to live even in this very high-cost region of the country. With more data centers opening every year, this number will just continue to grow. They stimulate economic activity and innovation in other sectors that use digital infrastructure, such as finance, healthcare, education, entertainment, and social networking. Data centers also attract other tech companies to the Northern Virginia area. Another benefit to data centers is that they bring in a ton of tax revenue, but they don't put a ton of pressure on local government services. According to Rob Facaro, vice chairman of CBRE, you're not putting cars on the road like with people in offices. You're not stressing growth in schools with tons of jobs. You're not taxing your police and fire departments with more service calls. Data centers are a pretty low stress when it comes from a government services perspective. Now that I've explained the externalities of data centers, let's talk about how they work for a second. You're connecting to YouTube's massive video servers right now. When the video was uploaded, it was sent to one of these servers, and when you clicked on it, the servers quickly found it and started streaming it to you in less than a second. Very impressive. If you live in the Washington, D.C. area, there's a good chance that one of the data centers you saw in this video is currently serving you the YouTube video that you're watching right now, or one that you will watch in the future. The data center industry is a notable and growing employer here in Northern Virginia. I personally know 3 people who have worked or do work at a data center, and I've met plenty more. And as I've mentioned, opposition to data centers is just starting out. There's going to be tons more of opposition, I'm sure, if they keep wanting to build data centers. And the people of Prince William County are just getting the gist that their rural areas are perfect places for these companies to build data centers. The future of the data center industry here in Northern Virginia is not set in stone. However, with the Prince William Gateway project and other small projects going on around the region is not done with data centers, and they probably will not be for a very, very long time. Thank you so much for watching this video.